Amazing. Okay. Um, so good to have everyone here. If we have not somehow met yet, I'm Taylor Harrington, your head of community, and I'm so excited for this session. It is going to be both grounding and transformational. Essentially, if you have been navigating big goals, big responsibilities, and the very real stress that can come with them, this is for you. So we are joined by the incredible Courtney Cochran, who is the founder of Surge Flow Breath and a breathwork practitioner who helps leaders reconnect with one of their most powerful performance tools, their nervous system. So, after nearly a decade of technology sales, Courtney experienced burnout firsthand and began exploring breathwork not just as recovery, but as a science backed strategy for resilience, clarity, and sustainable high performance. So, today she partners with leaders and organizations to integrate practical nervous system regulation tools into daily life and work, helping ambitious professionals lead with presence rather than pressure. I need this so badly. I'm so excited. This session is really going to be powerful because so many high achievers operate in that chronic stress without even realizing how deeply it impacts their focus, creativity, and decision making. So, through education and a guided breathwork session that we are going to do towards the second half of this, Courtney will help us understand what's happening in our bodies and how to regulate it in real time so that we can show up grounded, focused, and fully present. So, whether you are a founder, executive, or a ambitious professional who wants to perform at a high level without burning out, this is going to give you those practical tools that you can use immediately. So, Courtney, we are so thrilled to have you here sharing with the Dreamers and Doers community in this way. I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Taylor. Appreciate everybody hopping on today. I always like to start these type of sessions with just taking a few grounding breaths. I know that everyone's kind of coming in from their work day, whatever it was you were doing before. So with that being said, if everybody could just either have a downward gaze or flutter your eyes closed, maybe place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. We're going to take a breath in through our nose, filling up through our belly, into our chest, and exhale through your mouth all the way out. We'll do a few more. Inhale through your belly, into your chest, and exhale all the way out. Last one. Inhale, fill up through your belly, into your chest, and all the way out. Now just stay here in the stillness for a moment. Ground yourself. Be present here. And whenever you're ready, begin to flutter your eyes back open. Come back into the space. Awesome. Okay, so as Taylor had said, my name is Courtney Cochran. I am a breathwork facilitator and coach. I started my company, Surge Flow Breath, at this point about a little over a year ago. And as Taylor had said, I was in tech sales for almost a decade. It was really getting to the height of my career. I was living in London and I was just at a complete burnout point in my life. Like my capacity was pretty much at its max. And I'm not sure if any of you have experienced that before, but it is just really difficult to have anything else happen in your life when you're just at that level. So during that time, oh, you were down in London too, Jessica. Yeah, it's kind of a go, go, go place all around. So during that time, when I'm at my pretty much max capacity, I ended up, unfortunately, having a miscarriage. And that just completely rocked me. So now I was already at pretty much max capacity. Now I am overflowing where I just could not handle anything in my life at that point. My nervous system was completely fried. And so instead of just like going back to the States and getting another job, I quit my job fully, booked a one-way ticket to India. And my partner at the time was not happy about that. He was like, come back to the States, please. Went to India, then I traveled all through Asia. And while I was in Bali doing my yoga teacher training, there's a lot of breath work, pranayama, as part of yoga. And I completely fell in love with it. and I started traveling with a few other people. One was a breathwork facilitator. So we do breathwork, by the pool in our hostel every morning. And I just saw through that how much it completely changed my nervous system. So instead of coming back to the States and getting another job in tech, I then decided to bring this gift of breathwork and nervous system regulation to other high achievers. So that's really how I got to where I am. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Any questions that you have, though, any comments, just put them in the chat. And Taylor and I will be taking a look at that. All righty. It's fine. I worked in tech for so long. Sometimes I'm like, how does this work? Okay. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yep. Okay. Awesome. So, quick agenda. We're going to talk about what is breath work, why it's important, how to do it, when to do it, because there's some nuances there. And then we'll do a breath work practice. And then we should have some time at the end for Q&A. So, really, what is breath work? Now, when we think about breathing, right, you're probably not aware of all the breaths you take throughout the day because there's about 22,000 plus of them. You would go insane if you thought about every single breath. So, breath work is just that conscious awareness of your breath. Even just what we did at the beginning, where we were slowly focusing on our breath for 3 breaths, that right there is breath work. It's also an active practice that helps to stimulate and regulate your nervous system, which I'll get into more like what that exactly means in a bit here. But really, why I love breath work and how I've seen such a transformation in my own life with it is you can use your breath to go from any emotional, mental, physical state that you're in and then get into a new one. So, pretty basic. If you're really stressed and you want to be calm, you can use your breath for that. But you can also, it can be for bigger emotions, bigger states that you're in into something different. So different methods for this, really how I break it down and make sense of it is first and foremost, there's functional breathing, which we're going to chat quite a bit about today. Then I call them flow techniques. These are more of the restorative type of techniques, the more calming, grounding ones. Then we have surge techniques, and these are more activating to help with focus, energy, things like that. And then we have transform techniques, and this is where breathwork can get really, really cool. And it's almost like therapy for your body, and you're able to close these stress cycles that live in your body and in your fascia, and deal with things that maybe you don't want to talk about in therapy, or even didn't even realize that you were still carrying for a bunch of years. So, a lot of ways that you can be using your breath to impact your life, and why this is important. So, I know this is kind of a long list here, but when we're thinking about, okay, how are we showing up in our day-to-day world as leaders, as daughters, as friends, as mothers, whatever it is, if you're dealing with insomnia and mood swings and being hypersensitive and brain fog and having a low mood and having headaches and migraines and a bad immune system and so on and so forth, if you're dealing with those things, it's very difficult for you to show up in the way that you probably want to show up. And all of these are signs of dysfunctional breathing. And so it's kind of a little bit of like the chicken and the egg. So dysfunctional breathing can cause all of these things, but also functional breathing, breathing in a more efficient, correct way, can help with all of these things as well. So just to give a little rundown of your nervous system, like a little sciencey here. So there's 2 components of your nervous system. You have your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system. Your central nervous system is your brain and your brain stem. And the peripheral is just everything that's outside of your brain. So that's what we're going to focus on, is going down the track of the peripheral. Then you have your somatic and your autonomic. So your somatic nervous system, this is the things that you're more in control of. So that could be walking, typing, writing, the things that your brain is thinking, I want to do this thing, and then all of your nerves and muscles like get into action. That's your somatic nervous system. Then your autonomic nervous system is everything else that you really don't have control over. So that could be your breathing, your digestion, just how your lungs are moving, things like that. Everything that's automatic that you don't really pay attention to, that's what we then get into when we're talking about breath work. So, with that, under the autonomic nervous system, we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So, the sympathetic is your fight or flight. Um, Now, this is something that's really important when there's actually a real danger. Someone's breaking into your house. You want that fight or flight turning on, right? Then you have your parasympathetic state, which is more of your rest and digest. So, what can happen though, quite a bit, is you want to be in that parasympathetic state, but without realizing it, you're actually in a fight or flight. Okay. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put those down in the chat. But how the breath really affects the nervous system. So again, that sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, if you're having, short, rapid breaths that are, shallow into your chest, your body is thinking that someone's breaking into your house. You're running from a tiger. Like there's real danger going on. It increases your heart rate, increases your adrenaline. Again, if there's real danger, this is important. But if you are just click-clacking away at your computer and without realizing it, you're breathing in a way that's putting you into that state, you're causing more stress than necessary. And again, a lot of us do this without realizing it. That's where a lot of burnout happens. Then you have your parasympathetic nervous system and how the breath affects that. Again, that rest and digest is slow, deep breathing, just like we did at the beginning here, puts you into a state where your heart rate is more calm, you're more relaxed, your digestion turns on, and you're just able to be in a more calm, cool, collected state. So when we talk about then nervous system regulation, it's being able to move from that sympathetic state to that parasympathetic state on command. I think what's really cool about and interesting about breath work is that it's really the only modality that allows you to make that change in your nervous system on command. So again, if you are in, you're click-clocking away and you're realizing, oh, I'm a little stressed right now, just take deeper breaths in through your nose, fully into your diaphragm, and it'll automatically help you calm down. Having these tools of nervous system regulation also help you to increase your capacity and resilience. And I think that when we're, all in these big careers, big jobs, we want to do so much in the world, we need more capacity and more resilience. We can just hold all the things that come with these careers, with life, God forbid something tragic happens, just having more capacity just helps you to stay in it or bounce back faster. And that dysregulation of the autonomic nervous system leads to things that as a leader, really aren't helpful as we're in our lives leading in our careers, like stress, anxiety, depression, and other health issues. Then it comes to agility as kind of that next step. Once you have the nervous system regulation down, then you can use your breath for agility. So this means now we can move in between different states within our nervous system if we want to be more energized, more focused without completely going above our capacity. So we're actually going to play around with that a little bit today because there's times when you do want a little bit of sympathetic activation. So for example, before you give a presentation or you're meeting with an important client or you're about to go down the ski hill or something, you might want a little bit of more energy within your system, but you want to also be able to bring it right back down on demand and with control. So the physical benefits of breath work, reduce stress and anxiety, helps with your immune system, helps to detox your body, helps you live longer. There was a study done and the greatest indicator of longevity is actually lung capacity. So greater lung capacity, longer you live. Mental emotional benefits, just being able to be more calm, blissful, inner peace, even just those few breaths that we did there. I'd imagine that there was some level of feeling more calm after we did that. Lowers your cortisol, helps you close those stress cycles. And then really important here, the work, career, and high performance benefits. And I feel like all of us could really benefit from tapping into this, like being in your flow state, tapping into your creative genius, boosting your energy levels, improving your focus and concentration, improving your productivity and your performance, having better sleep. All of this you can do through different breathwork techniques. So, how do we do this? So, this is where we get into the functional breathing part. So, if there's nothing else you get from me today, it's to breathe through your nose almost all of the time. Okay. Super, super important. I found out when I was living in London before I, got into all of this that I was a mouth breather. I was reading the book Breath by James Nestor, if anyone's heard of that, and I'm on the tube reading it, and he, has chapter after chapter about breathing through your nose, and I'm reading it, and I'm like starting to then breathe through my nose. I'm like, wow, this feels really foreign. I don't think that I do this that often. And so that was really before I even got to Asia, kind of the start of like, I think that my breathing is causing some of the stress and anxiety that I have. So first and foremost, breathe through your nose. And then low. So low means breathing into your diaphragm. So that little graphic I have there, that is a visual of your diaphragm. It's one of the largest muscles that you have in your body, and it just sits below your rib cage. So breathing low helps to engage that diaphragm. And then it also, in doing that, helps to engage that parasympathetic nervous system. Slow, again, all of these things are impacting that parasympathetic nervous system and helping you get there. If you're breathing like, it's great when you're running, let's say, but not so much when, you're just typing away on your computer. Silent. I'm sure we've all, been on an airplane or something and you hear the person next to you or even, your partner when you're sleeping and they're breathing pretty loudly. That actually is a sign of dysfunctional breathing. The quieter it is, the more efficient that it is. And then smooth and rhythmic. So again, that's just adding into creating more stability within your nervous system. Now, the opposite of this, of course, again, just to kind of think about it, is through your mouth, high, so like into your chest, fast, noisy, choppy. So these are all the kind of things just to think about within yourself as you're going about your day. And then just there's little just adjustments that you can make within your breath. So then when we get into breath work, so that functional breathing, that's for the 22,000 breaths that you're doing throughout the day. And then breath work is when we're doing that active practice within our breath. So different breathwork variables you can play with is the speed. So are we doing, super, super long exhales, or are we making it a little bit faster? We want a little bit more energy in our body. We can play with the depth. So are we, doing our biggest inhale we possibly can, fully expanding, out through our lower ribs and our stomach? Or is it a little bit, still through our diaphragm, but a little bit more shallow? Then it can be through our nose versus our mouth. So when we talk about functional breathing, as I said earlier, like 98% of the time, you want it to be through your nose. When we're doing breath work, because it's in a smaller container for anywhere from like 2 minutes to maybe an hour at the most, that's when we can play around sometimes with breathing in and out of our mouth, but it's for a specific reason and it's extremely concentrated. It's not just in our day-to-day, how we move about the world. And then breath holds. So we're going to play around a little bit with breath holds as we do our practice today. They can be really impactful in terms of your nervous system. So when to do all of this? So functional breathing is most of the time. Exceptions would be when you're talking. So like right now, as I'm talking, I'm breathing through my mouth a little bit. I'm still, working to breathe through my nose, but as I'm talking, yeah, it is through my mouth. When you're eating, if you take a bite, a lot of times you do take a breath in as you take a bite. We're doing high intensity exercise. Something that I work with a lot of athletes too, and it's really fascinating to see just the functional breathing with athletes because most right when they start going on a jog, they'll start breathing in and out of their mouth. Really, you really only need that sort of energy when you're sprinting at the end. It's actually more efficient and better for your muscles and everything to be breathing in and out of your nose. Now, if you're showing any sort of big emotion, you're laughing, you're crying, try to laugh with your mouth closed and through your nose. Like it's it's really hard. You're just going to snort. So those are times when it's okay to be breathing through your mouth. And then again, in certain breathwork practices. But again, most of the time, we want to be doing that functional breathing. That's in through our nose, low through our diaphragm, etc. Then breath work, when to do this, is, as I'd mentioned kind of at the beginning, when you want to move from any physical, mental, emotion, or emotional state into a more desired one. So you can do this proactively. I do this as part of my morning routine. I just wake up and I have a different breathwork practice that I'll do. You can do it before a known stressor. So before you do a presentation, before you have the board meeting, before you have a difficult client, etc. You can do it reactively after a stressor. When you were just stuck in traffic and everyone was being a jerk and you finally got to where you are and you're like, I am so stressed out right now. That's a great opportunity to do a little bit of breath work. But the more we practice breath work, the more functional our breathing becomes because you're just getting used to fully going through your diaphragm, having those long, slow breaths, etc. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a breathwork practice, but let me go ahead and stop sharing here. We'll take a look at the chat to see if there's any questions. Yeah, so mouth breathers keep their mouths, they do keep them slightly open. It's not like, you're all day long. Like it's just like the slightest little bit. Um, Something really important to remember too is sleep. So you may think that you are breathing through your nose most of the time until you actually go to sleep. And that, assuming you're sleeping 8 hours a night, that's a third of your entire day. That's a third of those 22,000 breaths. And when we're passed out of sleep, like we have no idea how we're breathing. So, something that I give all my clients and I use myself is mouth tape. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. It it can be a little, it's not like scary at first, but it can be a little like, ooh, like what are we doing here? But it helps so much. And then when your mouth is closed and you are breathing through your nose more, it does help just to open up your nasal passages, so it makes it easier too. It also snatches your jaw, so that's another like kind of nice thing if you mouth tape. Um, but yes, great question. Mouth tape. Oh yeah, yep, mouth tape. It's the best. Yeah, the brand I really like is called Dream Recovery. I've tried a bunch of different brands out there, but Dream Recovery, I absolutely love. They have the full mouth ones. They have one called Dream Recovery Plus that um, it just has like different like vitamins in it, so it helps like keep every like your lips and your around your mouth, like the skin really soft. They also have little strips that just go like over this area. Um, which if you don't want like the full hostage tape type of situation, the little strips are are helpful too. Um, I know I do need an affiliate link. Yeah, I have a partnership with them. So I need to more so because I give it to my clients, but I need to get an actual affiliate link from them for everybody else. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to do a little bit of a breathwork practice. You can do this seated or you can do it lying down. If you're able to lie down, I would recommend it. It's just going to be even more, relaxing for you. But if not, no worries. Um, so give everyone a second just to kind of settle into their space. And we're going to be playing around with a few different breathwork practices here. I'm going to guide you all the way through it. The only thing I'll say is that if you are currently pregnant, if you have high blood pressure, if you recently had a heart attack or a stroke, you can still do this. But when we do the little breath holds, just don't do those. Just keep breathing along. Cool. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of music going. And I'll start that in a second. But if everyone could just flutter their eyes closed, really ground into the space. We're going to take a breath in through our belly, fill up through your lower ribs. Draw the breath into your chest. And through your mouth, exhale all the way out. Inhale, fill up. All the way to the top of that breath and out. Last one, inhale. Fill all the way up and out. We're going to tap into our senses. Starting with our ears, what's the farthest away sound that you can hear? Drawing that a little bit closer, what's the next closest sound that you can hear? And bringing your awareness as close to you as possible. What's that sound that you can hear? And it may be the sound of your own breath. Tapping into our sense of sight with your eyes closed. Is it light or dark behind your eyes? Any shapes, any colors that you can see? Now going to your sense of smell. What can you smell in the room that you're in? Going to your sense of taste. Anything you can taste in your mouth. And finally, bringing your awareness to that sense of touch. Feel yourself against whatever surface you're on, whether it's the ground, a mat, your bed, a chair, whatever it is. Feel your body being held by that surface. Feel your clothes against your skin. We tap into that sense of touch. I want you to ask yourself, why'd you show up here today? There's so many other places you could have been in the middle of the week, the middle of the workday. Why did you choose to show up here? What are you looking to bring more into your life? Maybe that's peace, clarity, sense of calm, energy, confidence. Through the power of your breath, what are you looking to bring into your life? Take together. Inhale, filling up through your belly, your chest, all the way up to your head, through your mouth. Exhale, let that go. Nice and slow. Belly button pulls into your spine. Inhale, fill up through your belly, your chest, and your head. And let go. Sinking deeper into the space that you're in. Inhale, fill up through your belly, your chest, and your head. And let that go. Few more like that. Inhale, belly, chest, head. Let that go. Last foundational breath. Inhale, belly, chest, head. And slowly let that go. Now we're going to move to a practice where we're going to inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Exhale through your nose for a count of 4, and then hold at the bottom. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Come back to your neutral and natural breath for a moment. For this, we're going to inhale through your nose fully. Big full inhale, and as if you're blowing out candles, purse your lips on your exhale. We're going to do that a few times. Then we're going to hold at the bottom of the breath. We'll hold again at the top of the breath, and then you'll sigh it out, and I'll guide you through all of this. So to begin, exhale all of your air out. Inhale, fill up. And as if you're blowing out candles, out. Inhale. Purse your lips, out. Beautiful. Inhale. Purse your lips, out. Big, full inhale. Purse your lips, out. Inhale. Fill up. And out. Few more in. And out. Last one in. Fill all the way up. Big breath. And all the way out and hold. Inhale through your nose, fill all the way up and hold. Now big open mouth, sigh it out. Let something go. Beautiful. Take a little recovery breath. We're going to do that again. Inhale, fill up. Purse your lips. Let it go. In and out. Inhale. Purse your lips out. Inhale and out. Inhale, go all the way up and out. Last one, inhale and let that go all the way out to the bottom of your breath and hold. Inhale, fill up through your nose. And gentle hold at the top. Now big open mouth, sigh it out. Stay in the space. Now we're going to do that same practice again, but this time can you make it just 1% bigger? And really here, tap in to what it is that you're looking to bring more of in your life. Whether that's peace, clarity, energy, what do you need more of? We'll start in a moment. Inhale, fill all the way up. Purse your lips, let that go. Inhale, big breath, fill up on what it is that you want, and let that go. Inhale, fill up. Let that go. Few more. Inhale. Blow out the candles. Make it even bigger. Inhale. And bigger exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale all the way to the bottom and hold. Sink into the space. Inhale, fill up. Hold. And big sigh it out. Let it go. Take a quick recovery breath. And we'll go right back in. Inhale, fill all the way up. And through pursed lips, let it go. Inhale, fill up. Blow out the candles. Inhale. And let it go. Fill up on what you're calling into your life. And let that go. Inhale, fill up. Let that go. Inhale, fill up. Let that go and hold it at the bottom. What are you looking to bring more of into your life? Inhale, fill up. Gentle hold at the top. And big sigh, let it go. Embrace any tingles you may have. Back to a long, slow, natural breath, staying in the space. Feel filled up by whatever it is that you're calling in. Now we're going to engage our vocal cords a little bit, and we're going to hum. This is so good for your nervous system to help bring you down as we brought everything up for a moment. So inhale through your nose and hum. Go all the way to the bottom of your breath. Inhale, fill up. Hum. Really feel that vibration in your throat. I'll be doing this alongside you, but take this at your own pace, your own rhythm. Feeling that sense of calm wash over you. Keep that breath moving. There you go. Keep it going. Why did you show up here today? Make this as loud and expressive as you'd like. Feel that vibration from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Last few. Take that final breath in and hum it out. Keeping that breath nice and long and slow, your eyes still closed. You're going to tap into your creativity with a little visualization. Now, whatever it was that you were calling in, peace, clarity, confidence, energy, whatever it was, I want you to put a color to it. Whatever color makes you think of what you're calling in. I want you to imagine in the center of your chest, in your heart, is that color. It's in a ball. And with every breath in, I want you to imagine that that ball starts to grow. It gets a little bit bigger with every single breath. breathe into that expansion. That color washes up through your neck, through your face, through your shoulders, down your arms, down your torso, your hips, down your legs, into your feet. Feeling fully filled up with that color, whatever it is that you're calling in. Now I want you to imagine that that color is going beyond your physical body. With every breath, imagine that color now start to fill the room that you're in. With every breath, start to imagine that it goes outside. That color spans across the city you're in, the state. That color goes up to the sky. How far can you spread that color? How much can you embody what it is that you're looking to bring into your life? With every breath, deepen the color. It keeps expanding. Keep that breath moving. Now imagine all that color at once comes right back into you, right back into the center of you. Now in these last few moments to yourself, before you go out to the rest of your day, to whatever it is that's waiting for you. Just stay here. Just be here now. Notice your breath softly come in through your nose. Feel the sensation as it goes through all of your little nostril hairs. Really tune into that sensation. And then really notice how it feels when it comes right back out your nose. Maybe you feel that breath and the space between your nose and your lip. Full attention on that breath. Keep it nice and long and slow. Begin to bring some life back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, maybe take some circles with your wrists, with your ankles. Feels good. You can give yourself a big good morning stretch. Keep your eyes closed if that still feels good. Now, if you were laying down, roll over to your favorite side. If you're in your chair, just stay exactly where you are. If you rolled over onto your side, gently press yourself back up. Meet us in a seat. Now with your eyes still closed, Give yourself a thank you for doing this practice. Give yourself an I love you. And give yourself an I'm proud of you. With your eyes still closed, rub your hands together, creating some heat. And when your hands are nice and warm, either place them over your eyes or anywhere else on your body that could use a little love. Take an inhale together. Go all the way up and sigh it out. Last one, inhale. Gentle hold at the top. And big sigh it out. Let your hands come down to your lap. Gently flutter your eyes back open, coming back into the space. Cool. Thanks, everyone. I know everyone's probably feeling a little zen right now. I did just want to share a little bit of, if you want to work with me, what that looks like. So let me go ahead and reshare my screen.
As you get that going, would love a little confetti and love for Courtney in the chat. That was so nice. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, definitely can't wait to see what you have to share here. And I'll put a couple of little links in the chat, but I am definitely feeling very zen myself.
Good, 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 good.
Thank you
Okay,
for that.
of course. Okay, so I have my signature coaching where I call it the Surge Flow Breath Method, where we go through a lot of those things that I covered today. So, functional breathing, the flow techniques, we did some of those at the beginning and at the end, nervous system regulation, more of the surge techniques. That's when we were doing, more of those deeper breaths, breath holds. That's like an intro to the surge stuff. And then therapy for the body, essentially, more of that somatic transformation. So that's the coaching program I've had that I'm going to continue. It's been amazing, really great for high achievers. And the new offerings I have upcoming for this year is I'm going to start a breathwork community with live sessions that you can join throughout the month. That's a great offering if you don't necessarily want like one-on-one coaching, but you want to experience what we just did on a more regular basis with a group of people. And then I will offer group coaching containers. And then, as I shared at the beginning of my story, losing that pregnancy is really kind of how I got to doing all this and where I am. And so that's something I really want to offer, that healing to other women. So I am hosting a retreat in late September geared toward women who have gone through pregnancy loss. It'll be in Wyoming, view of the mountains everywhere. It's absolutely stunning, the location. That's something I am kind of asking Dreamer and Doers members. It's a little touchy of a subject that if you know of anybody who has gone through that and is looking for some healing, send them my way. And then I have a little QR code if you want a little free consultation. I have my contact information, my email, my phone, and my website. My Instagram is Surge Flow Breath. You can keep in touch with me there. I'll keep that up for a few more minutes. And then I know we have like a minute left, but were there any other questions that came through the chat, Taylor?
Yes, Lauren had a quick question here. Do you have any other recommendations for general breathwork classes, teacher training, online stuff, whatever you've got? And I'll just remind everyone we did record today's session. So if you had a great time and you want to re-listen to this recording on a hard day or on a regular day where you just need to revisit this practice, like it will be inside of the on-demand library for D&D in the next few days. So yeah, note
Cool.
on that. But yeah, back to Lauren's question.
Yes. So, there's a ton of apps out there that have daily breath work. Open is a good one. There's one that I just started using called 5.5 that I'm liking. The only thing I'll say about the apps is sometimes like you have to keep yourself accountable. So doing it more so with a group or with a coach is helpful if you really want to like deepen the practice. But I think apps are an amazing way to start. I use them, you know, throughout my day. If I want to be guided, I'll use apps. And now, in terms of teacher trainings, I'm a really big fan of pause breath work by Samantha Skelly is the woman who runs that. I think she just does an amazing, amazing job with her breathwork certification program. And then I did my breathwork certification through someone else, but I did her somatic coaching program, and I just love everything that she's about. So yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, so many good recs. Thank you so much, Courtney, for holding this space and creating such a beautiful session together and time together. Yeah, so, so needed. And I hope everyone has an amazing rest of their day. Thanks for carving out a little time to hang out with us, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye, crew.